TUC leadership don come and come talk say dem no dey sure, dem never dey sure of the fact say Port Harcourt Refinery don dey produce crude oil, PMS and those things like wetin dem talk. He say till dem see with their kro eye say yes, the Port Harcourt Refinery dey produce PMS, say dem no go believe am.
Press, good evening to us, to every one of us that had found time to be here this evening. As you could observe, we've been having our organs meeting, and we just climaxed that organs meeting with the meeting of the NEC of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. And in all these, we are thrilled on issues that are affecting Nigerian workers vis-a-vis the downtrodden Nigerians. We examined the issues that are bordering on minimum wage. And as you could recall, the Minimum Wage Act was signed into law sometime in July. And since this was signed, a lot of states, they've started making pronouncements, announcing different figures as their minimum wage. As the NEC of TUC rightly observed, that it is not just sufficient for you to keep announcing minimum wage of 70,000, 80,000, 90,000 as the case may be, but it boils down to issues that is bordering on consequential adjustment. That most of these states, as we speak, they have not effectively carried out a proper consequential adjustment. So we are calling on such states to sit down with the organized labor to draw up the table as regard consequential adjustment, so that workers across each of these states will start benefiting from the new national minimum wage. There are some states that there is no conversation whatsoever. As you could recall, that as we speak today, Cross River, there is a 2 days warning strike that is currently going on in Cross River State because the government of Cross River State is not responsive to the plight of workers regarding the issues of minimum wage. So we hereby call on the governor of Cross River State to take the issues of workers much more seriously, to take the welfare of workers, and put it in the front burner. Then a state like Zamfara, as we speak, have not even constituted a committee to discuss on the issues that are bordering on minimum wage. So there is no conversation going on currently in Zamfara State on how the new minimum wage will be implemented and how the consequential adjustment should be done. So we are hereby calling on the governor of Zamfara to emulate what is happening in the state that is very close to him, that also have similar revenue. A state like Kebbi today is also taking a lead regarding issues that is bordering on the welfare of workers. So we call on these states to quickly, as a matter of urgency, to implement the new minimum wage with its consequential adjustment. Comrade, recently you heard that government, they've rolled out issues that is bordering, that they call tax reform. 4 bills are currently sitting before the National Assembly on the tax on the Nigeria tax reform. From the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, we are saying that as of today, the downtrodden Nigerians, they are passing through excruciating hunger and they are passing through pains as we speak today. Yes, government has said that for those that are around minimum wage, that there is going to be tax relief. But we hereby call that net should be expanded much more. That net should be expanded to give more Nigerians tax relief, so that they could be able to use their earnings to cater for their families. Because as you rightly know, the cost of goods in the market is outside the roof. School fees has gone above board. Electricity, same thing. PMS, same thing. So we want government to expand the net of those people that they want to give tax relief. It is very, very necessary, and it is very, very urgent. Then for those as well that they are increasing their taxes, we want them to have a rethink, because this is not the time where you have to increase the tax burden of the citizens, because if you keep increasing the tax burden of the citizens, it is one of those things that leads to tax evasion. But government must design policies whereby the agricultural sector, the manufacturing sector, the real estate sector, the construction sector will begin to contribute much more to the GDP. Government should encourage these banks to lend much more to the real sector of the economy, because it is that sector that hired a lot of Nigerians, that could hire a lot of workers, because we want Nigerians to be engaged. So we hereby call on government through CBN to come up with robust policies that will encourage the banking sector to lend much more to the real sector of the economy, so that more jobs could be created. Then on the issues about unemployment, if you remember at the time, our unemployment rate in Nigeria was well above 35%. Before the MBS came with a new formula that they now said that if you work 1 hour a week, it is job. So you have a job. So how can a man that is working 1 hour a week be categorized to have a job? What can a man that have 1 hour a week will be able to put on the table for its family? So MBS should reflect on their characterization. It is not just good for you to say that the number of Nigerians that are unemployed is about 4%, when we know that that is not the best standard that is being used the world over. The comrade, from Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, we've addressed press conference a number of times on issues bordering on exchange rate. We will not be tired. We will keep pushing and telling government that is one singular thing that has affected literally everything today in Nigeria. Government must look at its policies and how that exchange rate could be better managed. Nigeria has been an import-dependent nation. We importing literally everything did not just start today. We have been importing literally all items, in the past 2-3 decades. But our exchange rate was relatively stable. So government must look at their policies again on how the exchange rate could be better managed. The comrade, if you could remember that some time ago, the issue of wage award, when government came and they announced that the wage award is going to be paid until the new minimum wage was implemented. And if you remember that the last time the wage award was paid was February. So there are still arrears. So we are still calling on government to pay the arrears of the new minimum wage until the date they started paying they should pay the arrears of the wage award until the date they started implementing the new minimum wage. Solidarity. Then comrades, you could, and gentlemen of the press, today, the country is having discussions around CNG, but the infrastructure for CNG has not been deepened. The infrastructure for CNG at best is in most state capitals. So beyond those state capitals, we are encouraging government to deepen the infrastructure of CNG. We are encouraging government to also make the kits available free of charge to buses that convey students, to buses that convey workers, to the transportation unions and the transportation sectors, so that they would be able to convert their buses and start using CNG that would reduce the cost of transportation that has since skyrocketed. Then we would also want to comment on the issues bordering on refineries. We've heard in the news that the old Port Harcourt refinery has started processing crude, but we would still want to validate that further we have reached out to our in-house union in Port Harcourt Refinery to validate that. But beyond the old Port Harcourt Refinery, we want government to also revisit or to expedite work in other refineries. Warri Refinery, Kaduna Refinery, and the new Port Harcourt Refinery. These four combined is holding close to 400,000 barrels of crude production per day. So we call on government to expedite actions in all these refineries because it will eliminate monopoly. It will bring a system of competition into the downstream sector of the oil and gas industry.
Say because NNPC they be double father, they don't lie for us tete, and the line don't make us we don't they trust NNPC. So the trust deficit now they affect TUC too. No be only common Nigeria they adapt Port Harcourt refineries production capacity. So this is expected. The NNPC has over time lied to Nigerians on several occasions. They go tell us say Port Harcourt refinery go start production so date that they go reach nothing go happen. So this overnight announcement, since they linger, people see the doubt say na lie they talk. Besides, some people when even believe say okay, let's start production. They see they talk say make they look until like 36 months, make the production they consistent. Say they don't go just fit come and come lie say production don start, they go produce for 2 or 3 weeks, they go back off again like what they see. Some don't even talk say the Port Harcourt refinery. NNPC when NNPC they lie so or when NNPC they claim say they don't start production say you say it could be like the Nigeria air when they take loot billions of naira under Buhari administration. So they still they keep hope alive too. So we are still praying that let it be that yes the refinery is full and functional so that at least it could join the refinery they give production.